Good morning.
Hey guys, welcome back to another N&M Productions podcast. Thanks to Aaron Campbell for that beautiful intro.
Good morning.
Also, good morning from Elisha Buell here as the guest.
Yeah, he's here too.
At almost 2 p.m. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay.
Whenever you're listening to this, good morning to you.
Or good night.
Or good night.
Or good afternoon.
Or good afternoon.
Or no,
Good evening.
Good day.
Buenos noches.
Okay. We got a bit of about everything. We're going to talk about a conspiracy. We're going to talk about a story, and then we're going to read a real story. Okay, you just want to explain it, Eli?
Okay, so this is like a forum website where people can post their own stories, and there's the like forum it's under is spooky stories that happened with like real people. So
Okay.
it's people posting their own like spooky stories and like coincidences, which is cool.
That's spooky.
Very spooky. The spookiest of spooky.
All right, where you guys want to hop on first?
Just go with the conspiracy first.
Conspiracy it is.
This is a good one.
All right, this is conspiracy. All right. The term mental illness is actually made up, and the people with mental disorders see the world how it really is. That's pretty wild.
That's
It just makes you think.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. Nah, I don't think
Yeah,
that.
definitely not that at all.
I don't
It's
think
just one of those things, but like, what if?
Yeah, like schizophrenic people are like.
Like a controlled government, crap like that.
Yeah.
And they want you to believe that like these people are crazy, but they actually might be like.
That's like
They're
have
getting
you
pure
heard-
thoughts, bro.
Have you heard the theory? There's like whack job theories, and it's like, oh, the government puts oxygen in the air, and it like puts a filter over your mind to see the world, and it's hiding the
No.
Yes.
I've not once heard that, but I don't like it. Okay.
Or flat earthers. You think
Flat
the Earth's
earth-
flat?
God.
way, bro. You think we're just a frisbee floating in
And
space?
people believe that they say you can't, there's no oxygen in space. That's just because the government doesn't want us to escape.
It's true.
Yeah.
You're right.
I wasn't born on this planet.
Either that
guys.
or it's because there's no trees.
I can believe that. Huh?
You said either that or it's because there's no trees in space.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
I bet you we can breathe in space.
Imagine.
Where would they get the carbon dioxide to
Has
transform
anyone ever
into
tried to
oxygen?
breathe in space? So that's the question.
I'm pretty sure they have. I'm pretty sure they died.
Yeah.
Like instantly.
Why didn't they just
Probably.
put their oxygen mask back on after they realized you
It's not
Are
like
you
the
joking me
it's
right
not the
now?
lack of oxygen that kills you though. It's like the pressure vacuum.
Oh, and it's really cold in space.
yeah,
it's super
really
cold.
cold. So,
0
Think you can breathe
Kelvin.
though?
but I think it's mostly the pressure that kills you.
So why don't you just get like one of those like freaking like filters on your face that you can just breathe?
No, the pressure. It,
like your head would like
your head like
Oh.
explodes because it's a pressure vacuum.
It's a freaking vacuum, bro. The vacuum of space.
and you'd be like.
And your
like
eyes will
blood-
pop
it's
out your
like-
head.
Yeah, it's like your eyes would pop
Your
out
blood
your head and your
boils.
blood would boil. Like divers have to like. That's why
You have to
deep sea
slowly
divers have
go
to
up and
slowly go
Yeah.
up.
Well, they get the bends, you
Because
know?
if they don't, they're
47
blood will
meters
boil.
down.
That's insane.
You ever seen 47 meters down?
No.
If
Talking
you're
about
getting
don't-
attacked by a shark, you have to go up slow.
Yeah, don't go up too fast or you'll get the bends, is what they call it.
Huh. The Benz?
The bends.
I want a Mercedes.
Mercedes, bro.
Bro,
So I'm talking about.
don't go up too fast or you get a Mercedes right to the
Swims up instantly, bro. Bro, you'll get a Benz if you go up too quick.
Yo, crazy.
Okay. Now, do you want to move on to that other thing, or do you want to just read this weird, I don't even know.
Miss
This thing.
Stop. Starting to think you got mental illness.
Oh god. Okay.
This is why I hate school.
Move on to the Golden Heights. Move on to the Golden Heights.
In the Golan Heights, area near the border of Syria and Israel, a 3-year-old boy claimed to remember how he was killed in his past life. The boy said he was murdered with an axe, and even managed to bring local elders to the point where his body was found. They dug up a skeleton and the murder weapon buried next to it in that very spot.
He killed somebody, right?
he killed somebody.
Yes.
There's
A
no
3-year-old
way.
boy.
No way, 3-year-old picks up an axe and kills somebody, man.
Yeah.
No.
You tell me you couldn't pick up and
Well,
swing an axe at 3?
A skeleton.
definitely
and
not.
a
It's a
skeleton.
skeleton,
It
sometimes
takes a while to
decompose.
decompose.
Yeah, he killed straight out the womb. Like kid's a murderer.
Oh my god.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's what it was.
No. I don't know, but that's pretty crazy.
I don't know. It's like that one.
You think he actually reincarnated, or you think he's just like a?
Or just
I don't know. There
murderer
are
could've
like
told him, like,
other
you were
cases
married to
besides that.
Yeah.
Where kids can like detail.
Yeah, we talked about that one on last or was it last? No, it wasn't the last podcast. It was a couple podcasts.
Yeah.
I don't remember. We talked about that kid that talked about another life and detailed this very story. I don't know. That's
Bro, I don't know.
weird,
Mm-hmm.
creepy.
The story also could be fake.
You think
That's
so?
true. It's in Syria. You know
We're
what
gonna-
the Syrians are up to.
We're gonna move on to some forum posts.
Forum. Post.
Forum.
Forum.
For Russia.
Oh my god.
Mother Russia.
This is a brand new story, guys. I once worked as a live-in staff member in a college dormitory. During the summer, we housed the few summer school students who remained on campus, about 30. It may be significant to point out these students tended towards the highly academically motivated, oftentimes high-stress students, if quiet. One warm day in late June, my office received a call from a concerned sibling that she and her family were unable to reach her brother who lived by himself in a room on the summer school floor. This wasn't unusual, as our office frequently dealt with students avoiding their kin due to frayed nerves or general social awkwardness. Our normal protocol to check on a student is to try and reach them by our emergency contact information. Failing that, go to check their room to verify they're living in the building and perhaps available then and there. Then they have to call their family to verify we followed up on the original request. Also, we are only to enter a room with another staff member present to ensure personal safety to staff and students. I failed to reach the student on his room and mobile phone and was working short-staffed, so since I was on my own, I decided to pop up to his room and check on him. I arrived on his floor around 2 in the afternoon, and the floor seemed deserted as I had expected. I found his room number and immediately noticed the sound of a movie playing on a TV or a computer from behind the door. I knocked 3 times and announced that I was a staff member checking on his health and safety. No answer. I didn't think this was that remarkable. College students are notorious for leaving electronics running while not in the room. I checked the floor, showers, and bathrooms and found them deserted. I returned to his door and knocked 3 more times, waiting 20 seconds between each knock. No answer. This is when my instincts started to buzz. I worked in residence halls a number of years as a professional, and something about all the pieces of this puzzle weren't adding up. Family concerned about his health and safety, electronics running, someone must have started them recently within the time frame of a movie run time. Summer school students and their idiosyncratic behavior, something wasn't right. I was by myself, so I probably let myself get more worked up than if I was with someone else. A deserted dorm floor, even at 2 in the afternoon, oftentimes invokes weird memories of the Overlook Hotel. I decided for some sense of closure or sanity, I needed the immediate resolution of keying into a student's room. I knocked on the door one more time for good measure, again found myself as the hall director. I keyed into the room and my spider sense went off even stronger. The room appeared vacant, and the student appeared to be living out of a suitcase.
Oh my god.
The bedding was tousled like something had been sleeping in it, and all the lights in the room were on. And as I had suspected, there was an open laptop on a desk running on battery power playing The Matrix, but no student. I began to start rationalizing to keep from feeling unsettled. Surely this student and I had crossed paths on the way to his dorm, and perhaps he was just down in the lobby picking up delivery food for a late lunch.
Or he was dead.
I turned to leave, planning on trying to reach a student later in the afternoon or that night. As I turned to leave, I noticed another odd piece of evidence. The accordion closet doors, which are removed in most rooms, particularly single rooms like his. They were still in his room, and they were closed. Oh no. Odd, I couldn't remember the last time I actually saw someone use those cranky, dysfunctional doors. Then my intuition spiked even higher than ever. I realized I was alone in a room with a potentially suicidal student who may in fact have completed just that. And I'm about to be that guy who discovers the body.
Oh man.
Felt like I was talking to myself when my voice cracked as I spoke to the closed door and announced my name and title that I would be opening the doors. I fumbled with the latch on the doors and finally managed to get them disengaged, and as I slid the doors apart, I was unprepared. I didn't know what I really expected. A hanging, gunshot wound. I'll tell you what I didn't expect. A 7-foot dark-skinned Indian man staring at me embarrassingly as though I had found his secret hangout. We stared at each other for a good 15 seconds without blinking, breathing, or speaking. I finally realized what was going on. He was hiding from him. Man, that was long story for that.
Oh my god.
We need to cut that because that was garbage. That was like
We are cutting it, bro. That was like 10 minutes.
that was garbage.
That was so long or not.
That was so dumb.
It's so
That was-
funny.
He was just hiding from him the whole time.
Bro, we're all sitting there like, bro, what's gonna happen?
Downvote that.
It goes, some 7-foot Indian guy
Downvote
looking at me.
that, bro. That was
That was
terrible.
trash.
Great.
I mean, it was good storytelling, but
Oh my
whack
God.
ending. Downvote it.
I can't. I'm not logged in.
Dang.
I don't have any kind. That was
Man.
garbage.
That was so funny.
It was good, but
Oh my gosh,
I thought
man.
he was gonna be dead or kidnapped.
No
I thought it was gonna have a
joke.
bunch of dead bodies in there.
Yeah, something.
Sort of.
Okay, the next story. When I was 10 years old, I lived on Woodland Drive in Fox Harbor Apartments in Paducah, Kentucky. If you look up the address, you will see some woods just north of the apartment complex. My friends and I played in those woods every day after school and all day on the weekends. Through the years I lived there, we cleared a small area in the woods and created a fort from various things that we got out of dumpsters. It was our own place that no one else knew about, and it was awesome. One day, as we were walking out to our fort, off in the distance, we saw a man walking through the woods. He was walking parallel to us, but in the opposite direction, like cars traveling on a road, but with about 70 to 80 yards separation in our paths. We stopped talking and stopped dead in our tracks when we saw him. We never saw anyone in the woods, especially not adults. We stopped moving, and he did too. He turned towards us, looked right at us. As I stared at him and was unable to make out the details of what he looked like, I noticed that he was wearing what looked like a Halloween mask. A generic mask, not Michael Myers. And he was carrying an axe in his hands. We stood there in silence and motionless for what was probably about 10 seconds. He looking at us and us looking at him, then he started sprinting straight at us.
Oh my gosh, bro.
We did the only thing apparently thought to do. Run straight for our fort. When we were about 50 yards from the entrance to our fort, in those 50 yards he gained a lot of ground on us. We finally made it. He was upon us. All my friends scurried up the tree and were screaming, but I was last in line. By the time I could climb the tree, he was standing right there by us. He was screaming like a lunatic, waving his axe in the air. I was scared, had no idea what was going on, and my mind was blank on what I should do. I grabbed a large stick and took a nice big baseball bat swing, cracked him on the face with it. He stumbled back a bit, moaned, and took his mask off. I recognized his face. It was the landlord and manager of the apartment complex, a man who was about 50 years old, and he wanted to play a joke on us and thought it was the most appropriate thing to do. He was a friggin' psycho.
Pranks. They got
brains.
Oh my gosh.
I wouldn't want to get chased with an axe. I wouldn't want to get chased with an axe. It's terrible, bro.
No joke.
Nice joke, bro. At least if you're getting chased by a guy with a chainsaw, they take the friggin' chain off first.
Oh,
These stories are garbage,
they
bro.
really are. I thought they'd be a lot better.
I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, you picked a good one, Eli. Good one.
Good job.
I really consider not letting you on the podcast next semester.
Just name this episode podcast garbage stories.
Garbage, scary stories.
Garbage, not so scary stories.
Okay, the first two things we talked about were good, but then the rest of them,
Just went
not so much.
Yeah, and then we had a 10-minute friggin' story.
That was funny.
That amounted to nothing.
That was funny.
Amounted to a 7.
Sorry for anyone watching. If you listen to this, go listen to any other podcast that we have out, and it will definitely be better than this one.
Probably.
Okay.
100%.
You think so?
100%.
I don't think so.
I wouldn't listen.
Maybe not our second one. Our second one was pretty garbage.
Better than the other school's podcast.
Yeah, what other schools have podcasts around here? Lakeland? No.
And they don't, then that's not as cool as us.
Windsor? Doubt it. Warrensburg? Maybe, because they're a big school, but
Yeah, they probably do.
but we're a 1A school,
And we actually
and
talk
we're
cool stuff.
cool. We don't talk about sports like the nerds before us.
No,
We don't talk about...
I hated those dudes.
Bro, we don't talk about...
Actually, you guys did talk about sports though. We had an NFL episode.
Okay, we talk about sports on one. We talk about conspiracy theories, the stuff people are interested in.
We talk about what the public wants.
We talk about the public, what they might not want, but what they need to hear. The government's controlling us by putting fluoride in our water.
I just saw Noah gasp. Read it. Noah goes, and I'm like, we got a story.
Oh no!
When I was a
can't
young,
read this.
youngling, my brother and I went for a walk in the woods behind our new house.
Way.
We came upon an unfamiliar area and noticed
God.
plaster bodies parts thrown willy-nilly.
That's
This
whack.
is definitely fake.
We kept walking to discover a mannequin massacre.
That's
Dozens
terrible.
of lifelike plastered mannequins in various positions of death and torture. Some with burnt marks.
Weird, bro.
Some with burn marks. Some tied to trees with forks and knives stuck into them. And others hung by their necks from branches 3 stories.
3
up.
stories, okay.
The mannequins were dressed in human clothes and featured detailed facial expressions of pain and terror. In the middle of this were childlike mannequins that had been tied up and blindfolded.
That's terrifying.
That's the end of the story.
Yeah.
That's it.
What?
Oh my gosh. That is just insane.
There's no.
Can you imagine finding that out in the middle of the woods?
That would be
Never go back.
That's creepy.
I'd
like,
be like, what?
like, I mean, depends on where it's at, but.
I'm sure you could probably find some weird stuff in the middle of some woods.
I saw a thing, it was about this guy walking in the middle of the woods, and it was a bunch of paintings and a ritual like fire circle. Like there's a fire pit in the middle, and there's a bunch of paintings surrounding it.
No.
On easels and everything, like somebody had just been painting
No.
there. Yeah.
I don't like
And he was talking about how the fire was still going, like somebody had recently been there. Like there was still ashes in there, so like, he's like, I'm gone.
Dude, imagine.
Oh my
Like,
God.
imagine somebody watching you. Or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm bailing, man. There's no way.
Yeah. That's creepy.
Man.
Ah.
You wanna hear this one?
Yeah, tell it.
My older brother and I were playing in a cemetery in a small Texas town. The cemetery sat next to some railroad tracks, which led into a black section of town. It's a huge cemetery, and there was no one around. Then we heard a little pop, and pieces of headstones began flying off around us. We looked toward the railroad tracks, and there was an old African American man shooting at us with a rifle.
What? That's whack.
Imagine just standing in a cemetery and you see chips of headstone just flying off and somebody's shooting at you.
Oh, did you?
But how fast could he have been shooting, bro? Like, what kind of rifle are we talking? We talking like a...
Man.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, how fast can you really shoot?
He's old, too. You don't even have to say
Yeah.
he did anymore.
Maybe if he's using an AR, then you can just pop, 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 pop.
Yeah,
but like,
maybe,
but
he's
he's
got a
probably
rifle.
using like what, like
Like, I need-
243,
I bet you he had a scope on there or something.
30-30.
I don't know.
30 out of 6.
There's probably a shotgun or something they just put a rifle.
Fair enough.
Pretty-
There's
that's
probably
like,
a pump or something.
Yeah, maybe the shotgun. But how far away was he though?
I don't know. It didn't say.
Maybe that's why he was missing. I'm just saying.
Shooting from
Trying to
like 700 yards
myth
away.
bust this story, bro. I'm just saying.
Bro, these
Fake.
stories are
Maybe he was
bad.
missing on purpose though. Maybe he just wanted to walk
Warning.
property.
Still. Why don't you just shoot in the air or something?
Huh.
I wouldn't. It's crazy. People are crazy. Okay, guys. Thanks for listening to this N&M Productions podcast. We'll be back next week.
See ya.